The biggest question I left with after seeing Trap was, do limousines have child lock on their windows? Like, I gotta know, man.
You know the butcher? The freaking nut job that goes around just chopping people up? Well, the feds or whatever heard that he's gonna be here today, so they set up a trap for him.
Trap, directed by Mr. M. Night Shyamalan himself, follows Josh Hartnett, a serial killer known as the Butcher, as he takes his daughter to a concert. But little does he know that this entire concert is a trap for him.
This individual that we're searching for won't panic. He's realized he can't get out. He's going to try to cause chaos.
And with that, let's start off with the positives. First of which being, I think that Josh Hartnett is great in the movie as this almost alien human being. Like, this guy is a weirdo in this movie. I mean, obviously he was going to be. He's a serial killer, right? But just the way that he carries himself and how he talks to people. I'll be honest, while I do think his performance is good, right? I think it's actually pretty fantastic. I couldn't help but think, like, how does no one in this movie suspect this dude of at least something mildly suspicious? Even when he's having normal, everyday conversations with people, he looks like a fucking murderer, dude. He looks crazy. He looks like Homelander. There's something not right with him. How can no one tell that this dude's suspicious? It's kind of baffling. And I think that had to do with how he even looked at people too. Like, throughout the movie, we're constantly thrown into like these POV shots of his, and almost always during these specific shots, there's only one thing in the center of the frame, in like the shallow depth of field. It's like whenever he's looking at someone or doing something, that is the only thing his character is focusing on. He's only focused on the one and only task at hand in that specific moment. And they very quickly established that he's got like OCD or something, and you could really feel it with how he functions. He was never multitasking. It was always one thing at a time, but done at like a meticulous level. I really appreciated the use of motivated cinematography there. Really, the cinematography in general here is fantastic, alongside the production design. Listen, I'm a firm believer that you'll never see a badly directed M. Night movie. His films are always visually engaging and great to look at, and Trap is no different. It sort of felt like a 90s throwback movie in a way, like it reminded me a lot of Speed for some reason. God damn, Speed fucks. It's shot on film and has like a frenetic pace to it that made it an easy breezy watch. I'll say this about this movie, it's never boring. The movie is basically like a thrill a minute kind of ride, and it's just a series of increasingly batshit insane situations that Josh Hartnett's character finds himself in. And with those situations comes some seriously great moments of suspense. Like, a couple scenes actually legitimately had me at the edge of my seat. Moreover, I think this movie just feels so effortlessly alive. Like many movies nowadays, they kind of rely on CG backgrounds or actors or whatever. For me, this movie felt like it had so many extras in it. Like it felt so sprawling, and I thought it was all the better for it. You know, with how vast and again sprawling that the setting was, and with how many extras were in every corner of every frame, it just felt alive, which is what you want from a movie that takes place at a concert anyway, right? And, well, speaking of the concert, I guess it's time that we get into the negatives. The real trap was M. Night Shyamalan getting people into the theater for this movie, because like a third of this movie is just a concert for his daughter. Yes, his real life daughter, who is a real life singer, is the artist in this movie. And I knew that going into it, but I was just shocked how much of it was in this movie. And apparently, you know, she wrote, sang, performed all the songs for this movie, which is really cool. But I did find it interesting how much of the movie actually focuses on her concert. And what I mean by that is, like, there will be entire songs performed in this movie completely separate from any of the drama or main characters. We'll listen/watch an entire song play out before ever cutting back to our main characters. That sort of thing happens a couple times. It's not egregious or anything. Again, it is a concert movie, and it does put the viewer in the perspective of a concert goer, so it worked for me. But I think it is worth mentioning because I did find it mildly strange how he casted his own daughter in his own movie so she can sing her own songs. It's kind of just a movie to promote her, basically, which is fine. Listen, I'm all for Shyamalan propping up his daughters and their work, whether it's with The Watcher or with this movie. I think it's cool that he's a supportive dad, really. But that being said, I don't really think she can act. I'm sorry. She's got a surprising amount of screen time. A lot of it just didn't work for me, man. I'm sorry. Speaking of surprises, I don't think this movie suffers from, like, you know, the trailers spoiled the entire movie itis, you know, that's going on right now. I think there's some fun surprises here. But no matter how fun this movie was or how funny it was shockingly funny. Intentionally so, by the way. This is a very funny movie. There's some great use of like cutaways and editing to heighten some of the more humorous situations. But again, no matter how fun it was, I couldn't shake the fact that, like, This movie's just insane, man. I felt as though this entire movie existed in a separate reality, almost like a fantasy land. Nobody speaks like a normal human being, which, again, you know, is par for the course for M. Night movies. He can't really write dialogue sometimes. But even the way that people act, the way things go down, the way people find themselves in and out of situations, it got to a point where I had to write down in my notes as I was watching the movie that, like, I was watching a live-action Looney Tunes movie. That's what it felt like. Like, there's just a straight-up Bugs Bunny moment in this movie. Bugs Bunny would have 100% done that if he was in that situation too. Like, the suspension of disbelief required to watch this movie and buy into anything that is happening is astronomical. This movie could never happen ever in any reality, okay? In any era of time and space, it just couldn't happen, okay? There are some ridiculously convenient things that take place that can and probably will pull you out of the movie. It did to me. But I mean, it comes with the concept of the movie, okay? A guy is a serial killer trapped in a concert. Like, the concept is already, you know, you gotta have to buy into it to even watch it in the first place. Watch out for M. Night's cameo. You know, he's gotta have a cameo in every movie that he makes. And his cameo here is arguably the worst in any of his movies. It's it's bad, dude. But hey, even if I thought the movie was very dumb, it was still very entertaining. And at the very least, it was well directed as usual for M. Night. And I thought it had a good pace to it, you know? Outside of the concert scenes, because I guess, you know, it does kind of break up the you know, maybe it doesn't have good pacing. I just shot myself in the foot with that one. I do think that this movie, though, has like the least to say out of all of his filmography. It's kind of just like a straightforward schlocky thriller with no real strong thematic message or like resonance to it, you know? At least to me it didn't. There's like a little bit of like nature versus nurture and maybe a little bit about trauma, but it's barely there for me. It was just kind of fun and kind of dumb, but funny. You know, it was well made. And like I said, there's a life and energy to this movie that I think is just sorely missing in a lot of other blockbusters nowadays, right? But similar to all those other blockbusters, this movie is still, at the end of the day, kinda dumb. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.